And then I thought, you know, the best way for me to convey my speech is to talk about my life. Talk about what got me to where I am, in as far as me being a professional basketball player overseas. And I took the road less traveled. And a lot of people who have done the space that I've done, they've been, you know, ballyhooed their whole life. They've had a lot of cosigns. Me, not so much. I had to take a route that is akin to like Bruce Bowen. I don't know if you know, Bruce Bowen played for the Spurs. He actually forged a letter to a recruiter for, I think he went to not Berkeley, Bakersfield, I believe he went to, a smaller Division I school, but he made his own buzz, and that's how he got a scholarship. And that's a little bit how I did myself, and without even knowing that story, you know. So I do want to share that as a precursor to what I'm saying. So, you know, in real life, you know, I'm a salesman, so I've taken that into my own field. I'm one of the top 10% earners, you know, in this country. Y'all know what that shakes out to. But I'm here to learn more about, you know, what Theo's about, you know, because I got to be at work all the time. I got to sell. I got to be in front of bodies, and I'm just getting growing tired of it. So I'm here to learn again as a brand new learner to the IT field. So the stuff that you guys have discussed in the last two presentations, that stuff I'm taking into is just a newborn. Something that I just don't have a lot of intimate knowledge on. So I do appreciate that sector of it as well. Now, I do want to say that, so to start off my story, it's about perseverance and overcoming self-doubt. That's one of the biggest things that a lot of us men face, because why? There's a lot of social forces out there. There's a lot of expectation we got to meet. And if you present yourself to be a certain way, you got to back it up. Because if you don't got the receipts, then people going to treat you any kind of way. They're going to talk to you any kind of way, or they're going to handle you any kind of way. So my story is basically in those two things, man. It's just self-doubt, overcoming adversity, and then just believing the power of self. So I'll start off, and I won't go too long-winded, like my man, my fellow co-host on my show as well, you know, Mr. Tice. But like my high school story, man, I was a one-year letterman. So I don't know who all in here play sports, you know, on a certain level, but being a one-year letterman, that doesn't translate to college, you know, aptitude. But I will say this, I walked into my school at 5'9" as a freshman. I left 6'6". That helped, you know, genetic shout out to my parents, they did a good job on that. My mama's 6 foot, my dad's 6'2", and you know, I went past everybody in my family. So that was cool, but I went through every level. I went from freshman B, sophomore team, which is trash, basically trash sophomores, JV 1 year, varsity 1 year. It was a tough sledding, man. Like it's kind of humiliating. You don't have your letterman jacket going into your senior year, that you got to earn it after the fact. But you know, it's all good. Like I literally walked that walk. I had that path. But I was okay. I just was a happy-go-lucky kid, so it didn't really affect me like that. Even though on the outer optics, I wasn't as popular as some of my, you know, my counterparts. And I will say this, of my team, 5 of us went Division I. I'm the only one who went pro, and I only played 1 year varsity. So let me set the precursor that way. So, appreciate that. I would expect that, appreciate that. All right, let's go. So I will say, man, like, so after my senior year, I had a pretty good senior year. Didn't have any D1 scholarship offers. And so I was like, damn, I thought I was gonna go to, you know, University of North Carolina and be the next, you know, Jordan. In my mind, you know, that you tell an average 18-year-old, they think, you know, just because they're the greatest in their mind, that's gonna translate to the, you know, actual, tangible, observable things, and that's just not how it goes. So I'm not even getting scholarships from the lowest of low. However, I was getting offers, well, that's a lie. Morgan State and Tuskegee University did want me to come by, but then they asked me, like, oh, so what kind of showcase tournaments are you playing in? I was like, what are these tournaments you speak of? Like, you know, I had no clue what that was. Well, I knew what it was, but I knew damn well I had no invitation to those things, and those kind of things would build your profile. So obviously they backed off. So then I had a guy actually from, so we had like a high school showcase, and the word showcase is in lowercase. It was not a great event, but it was a few JUCO coaches came in to watch us play basketball. And at the time, JUCO wasn't even an option to me. Like I knew Steve Francis, Steven Jackson went to JUCO, but JUCO is just like a dirty word amongst hoopers. Like nobody want to go to no damn JUCO. Like you don't put the time and effort in to go JUCO. Like nah. But the guy from, I will say he's from Richmond College. He wanted me to come. And his pitch was, hey man, I got this guy that can do a 360 windmill reverse dunk. And I want you to come play with him. I think your skills will go well with his. And to me, it just seemed like cap. You know, I didn't say cap now. Like it didn't seem real like that. That seemed like only like Vince Carter could do that. Like, so this is 2002, so if y'all want to date the occasion. Before YouTube, so it wasn't really video proof and stuff like this. I was like, this dude just trying to tell me anything to come. Turns out he was not lying. If anybody's familiar with Air One, the guy named is the Arab there. His name is Torian Fonnet. That's who he's talking about. So yeah. So I was like, you know, he wasn't capping, but to me it sounded like he was just trying to tell me anything to get me to come, and you know. So and I'll actually come back to that. So I didn't go there. I went to a school called Stephen F. Austin State University. So it is small Division I. We beat Duke 2 years ago at Duke. So it was like a huge thing. And the guy who actually won the winning basket was from the Bahamas, and they had the situation with the hurricane. And like when he beat him, like he had a what's that called, a GoFundMe thing. At the time he was sitting on, you know, everybody left him on red. But then when he beat Duke, you know, he went to like hundreds of thousands of dollars. You know what I mean? So it was like a crazy story. Y'all look at that on your own time. So with that being said, I went to SFA, and in my own 18-year-old optimistic mind, I was like, I'm gonna get on the team. It's Division I, no offers. I'm gonna get on the team. I knew I was, and so I had my plan. When I met the coach, I'm gonna stand out from all these, I was gonna use all words, all these wannabes that's gonna come and try to think they gonna, you know, captivate the coach. And that's what I did. I went to what's it called, orientation. I met Coach Casper, and I stood out. He's like, hey man, you know, we got University of Texas this year, to me and my parents. He's like, yeah, we'd love to have you out here, so if you want to try out for the team, you need to take this class, and this class, with no guarantees. I had no guarantee whatsoever. But to me, that was the validation I needed to, like, okay, I'm following the right path. I don't know what exactly this entails, I'm following the right path. Fast forward, I took the class he said, and I got it. One of the classes I was a basketball class, and Coach Bailey, one of the assistants, he wanted me to come, you know, well, I was in there, and I was there busting everybody's ass, obviously, we talking about intramural dudes. So I got an invitation to join the team within a week. So he brought me over to the team. So I come in there, like, so within 2 weeks of actual class time, I'm on the basketball team. And it sounds cockamamie, but that's literally, you know, how it shook out. And I'm on a Division I program team on basically me, my inner self-worth, my inner will to not hear no, to permeate to actual tangible results. And that's what happened. And in this tenure, I actually had it's an old white dude. And he would talk to me in a way I've never had no white dude talk to me. I'm not gonna lie, man. He used to really just, it was very hard to deal with. Coming from Houston, I'm an inner city kid. I had nothing but black coaches my whole life. You know, I played the inner city circuits. And to deal with a guy like that, just, you know, I'll put it this way. He's off of Greg Popovich's coaching tree. His name is Danny Casper. So I was not used to that. And I will say, you know, I learned things that took me to manhood these days that, you know, it's no excuses. I don't care. You got to be at practice 45 minutes early. There's no excuses. And I will say later in my career, and I'll kind of highlight that, everybody didn't mirror that sentiment. But it embedded something in me that I would take even to this day here, being 38 years old. So long story short, I went through that. I actually quit the team because he just got to the point where I just felt like he was too hard on me or what have you. And to me, in my 18-year-old mind, that's hating. So, you know, he was hating on me, so I quit the team. And I ended up leaving and going to a junior college. And so I will say this, the junior college I went to, the dreaded junior college, the stuff he put in me, when I got to that junior college, it was so strong in me that my coach I had, lowercase coach, you can't even call him a coach, but he was the advisor of the program, you know what I'm saying? I had to step in to be basically the de facto coach for what was going on because I saw that, you know, something's amiss. This ain't right. So I come in there and I'm amongst, you know, I'm only 19, and in JUCO you can have kids like 25 moving out there. Some dudes had no business. I mean, he was better than selling drugs. I mean, I was in Dallas. I'm not lying. One of my teammates is on death row right now. I'm not lying. That's an actual fact. Yeah, he played with Chris Bosh at Dallas Lincoln High School. I'll put his name out this public record. It's William Langham is his name, man. He was on First 48. And PJ, we used to call him, I used to hang with this dude. So that's kind of a sidebar, but this kind of tell you the kind of guys on this basketball team. It was a band of misfits, you know, for people who actually lived in Dallas. I'm from Houston, so I was like, everybody called me SFA. I was the D1 guy, so I had all the attention. So, you know, I went there and I did my thing. And then, guess what happened? I had 0 offers yet again after my third year, which is my sophomore year, which is a redshirted sophomore year, because I redshirted my freshman year. So in layman's terms, 3 years of college, but I have 2 years of recognized playing time. So I got no scholarship offers. So I'm like, damn, here I go. I go and do this. I'm the big ballyhoo guy. I was almost a junior college All-American, nothing. So I had to reach back in that bag again. So when I was going to SFA, I had no offers. I had to make opportunity. I did the same thing once again with this situation. What did I start doing? So it's back when you had tapes. You had to get like the VHS tapes and stuff like that. Updating myself. We didn't have the YouTube back then. You had the MySpace and the Black Planet. Well, actually, my fiance at the time. Telling too much of my life. But so I got my tape and I got my numbers and I sent it to everybody that would listen. So at the time I knew, I sent to Florida State, Michigan, Texas A&M, blah, 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 blah. I got correspondence back from Hawaii, Texas A&M, Texas, and Sam Houston State, and then Prairie View A&M. So Prairie View is a school that I said I would never go to. My mom went there, my aunties went there, my cousin went there, so I'll be a third generation Prairie View, alum. I was just like, nah. So, and just to be real, I would call that a nigga college. I was like, I ain't going there, because coming from the hood, which is rich from somebody from the hood, I look down on HBCU, but I'm just being real with my story, you know what I'm saying? So, when I did that, with Prairie View give me attention, and so obviously Florida State was not that hot on me. Obviously Hawaii wasn't that hot on me, but Prairie View still showed interest, and that was the person that offered me a scholarship, well, the entity that offered me a scholarship, so I took it. So I was cool with that. Like that was. I had to talk to myself. Okay, you're 21 years old, dude. You're trying to graduate. You're trying to get your education forwarded. You're trying to get somewhere in life. Take the scholarship. One of the smartest things I did in my life going to Prairie View, man. The connections I built to this day. But I'm sacrificing my Prairie View for you guys, man. I want to be a part of this because we playing in the SWAC championship. And I know if you didn't go to HBCU, it doesn't mean anything to you, but in HBCU world, going to the championship game is everything. So, and all my friends like, you ain't coming. I'm like, nah, I ain't coming. And so I say all that to say, perseverance got me in Prairie View. And when I got there, it was all good. I felt like I was home. I was there, but then guess what? A whole other approach came up of me having adversity. Because the problem is everybody from their little parts of the world all demand where they were again. Me, a one-year letterman, I had to come earn myself my reputation all over again. We had a 7-foot African dude ahead of me. I was like, oh shit, I ain't about to play against him. I ain't got to play over him, rather. Long story short, I took his space. So my first year, I did okay. My coach was Daryl Hawkins. He played at Arkansas. For y'all who historians, he played for the 92-91 team with Corliss Williamson, Todd Day, Nolan Richardson was the coach. It was a very popular team. The running Razorbacks, they call them at the time. 40 minutes of hell is what they did. Yeah. So that's what the ilk that I was in. And even Nolan Richardson came and did some of my practices personally. So we learned from a legend, in that space. So my coach got fired after that first year, and the assistant coach took over. So again, this is another perseverance time. So he told me I'm coming in as the second leading scorer, first leading rebounder. He told me, Cliff, hey man, so you're going to have to work hard. I'm going to bench your ass this next year, right? I'm like, bench me for what? I'm thinking yeah, you just trying to motivate me your own way. And he wasn't lying. So, which is ironic, he's actually a coach who tried to recruit me the year before I went to Prairie View because he was at a smaller school. But he was just trying to come in. It's like, the movie Toy Story. When you got new toys coming in, like Woody gets thrown to the side and everybody wants to play with Buzz Lightyear. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of coaches bring in guys just because they want to prove that they're smart, that they're great coaches. They'll play their new guys first. Even if you're an old toy, they're going to put you to the side. So I was the Woody, got put to the side. And I ain't going to lie, it almost broke me. Because I go from being somebody who's supposed to be somebody to a nobody, basically. And the caveat on top of that, without the caveat, the way that crystallized was our first game, I'll never forget. It was a scrimmage against a team called Jarvis Christian, which is in nowhere, Texas. Don't look it up. It ain't worth your time at all. And so it was a 5-quarter scrimmage, which is a very weird basketball game. Well, 3 quarters, but usually it's 2 halves in basketball. So first half go by, I'll tighten my shoes up, rim bluff, he gonna put me out there. Damn, nothing, all right. The second one goes by, the second team out there, well, I know I'm better than them dudes. Put me out there, nothing, all right. So I sat on the bench again, I was like, damn, he ain't put me out there like he don't see me, so I tried to scoot down the bench a little bit, like maybe he didn't see me, you know what I'm saying? True story. So the third one went through, he put the third group out, he didn't call my name. I was like, yo, so I was a tad, it took everything in me not to just stand up and cuss him out, man, because I was like, what point are you trying to prove here? And then he put me in like towards like the last 5 minutes, and it just was so insulting, man. I just was like, for real? Like, and we had some Kobe's in here, so them Kobe shoes. So I was like, man, I had my swag together. I just knew it was time to go, show up at this nowhere Texas school, but it didn't matter. Like I was ready, just to capstone my senior year. And nothing happened. I didn't play. I played barely 5 minutes. I was like, wow. Next game we played this team called Swag Hoops, Southwestern Assemblies of God. Some again in school, don't Google it, it ain't worth your time. And we played them at home though. This is a home game. So at HBCU at home is when you look good. Like, so I'm coming back, my girl at the time, she was about to be Miss Prairie View in HBCU world, like the finest girl on campus. So, I had a reputation to uphold, you know what I mean? So I go to this, to the season, and during the swag game, I played 8 minutes. So I'm like, yo, what's going on? And then we go to a Vegas tournament, we play Ball State. He starts me, I play 3 minutes, and then I ride the bench the entire game. And in basketball world, that is the ultimate slap in the face. You start the game and you play 3 minutes. Is that what they're doing to Kimber right now? To who? Kimber, yeah, pretty much. Kimber's getting worked over, yeah, absolutely. So yeah, it's very insulting if you are deemed worthy to start a basketball game, especially at Division I level. I mean, we're talking about a massive, massive crowd. Then the next game we played University of Florida. That's when they had 6 NBA players. Joe Noah, Al Horford, you may have heard of him, Corey Brewer, Torian Green, Maurice Space, who played with the Warriors, and they won their championships. And there's one more, I can't think of his name. But this is Chris Richardson. So this is another game where this is going to help me try to get overseas. Like, I played 3 minutes that game. Texas A&M, 3 minutes. And I had my side girl at the game too, so I was going to try to show out. She was an AK at Texas A&M, man. I had my chick and my side joint up there, man. I was down bad, man. I was down bad. But then I remember what Real said. He was like, I'm not going to play you because you're not going hard. And I ended up coaching under him years later, so I know he was true to his word. To me, it sounded like fluff. So I decided after that Vegas tournament, I'm going to bust my ass every practice. Even though I was about saving energy, that was my thing. So I would run extra hard. Like, I was fast, I just didn't want to. I didn't care to. I would run as fast as I can. I would beat everybody in the sprints. Me being a big man, I still could beat everybody because I had it in me. I was lazy. Long story short, my numbers went from like decimals, like I ain't know, there's no way, any post-college thing is going on, to after conference, it was a possibility. In conference, I put up double-double. I averaged a double-double. And I happen to have one of my best games against a team called Jackson State. Jackson State is we playing in the championship tomorrow, and with Deion Sanders, the coach of. And at Jackson State, they had a guy named Trey Johnson, who was the number 3 scorer in the nation, averaging 30-some-odd points behind Adam Morrison. Y'all remember him supposed to be the next Larry Bird? Yeah, it didn't work out. Yeah. So he was actually number 2, I'm sorry. So freaking Trey Johnson put up 55 on UTEP. He put 52 on Rutgers. So he put numbers on like verifiable programs, right? I have like 16-7 against Jackson. 3 dunks, had a 3-pointer, and that's the game, that was the linchpin for me to get overseas from all the adversity I faced, because I had to just turn myself around. And so, let's do it this way. So after the season's over, we always say athletes die several deaths. I died a death. After the year was over, I don't have no NBA teams breaking the doors down to get me, no European teams breaking the door down to me, so I'm back in the same position. Okay, what do I do now? I got a decent college career, but it's over. Like, I can't go hoop no more. I can't use my skills to get me to the next level, so what do? I went back to the old playbook. What I did was I talked to one of my good friends, Marcus Sloan. I give him so much props for this. He played at TCU. He played overseas in Germany. He was like, bro, get 10 minutes of your best game, Don't make no highlight, which is good because I can't edit worth the damn. Y'all look at my channel, I don't edit. That ain't my thing. This is a skill that permeated over my life. But he's like, just get 10 minutes of your best, what you think is your best. Send it out. And that's what I did. It so happened against an NBA player with Trey Johnson. So I clipped that 10 minutes. It's still on YouTube to this day. Look up Clifford Franks against Jackson State. It's still up. So I did that. I sent it out to everybody that would look at it. And so again, with the perseverance, it never occurred to me that I wasn't gonna go, but the opportunities, it just looked non-existent. It looked bleak at the time. So when I started doing this, I took a job at Home Depot. I mean, I was there I was there, but I wasn't there. Like it was the most bullshit effort I put to any job in the history of manhood. But I just knew I'm going overseas, so why do I need to worry about the plants? They taught you how to deal with plants, the annuals and whatever it was. I'm just like, dude, I don't give a shit about this. Like, I literally would clock in and leave for hours upon end, and then come back and punch out and go home. Like, I just didn't take it serious, and I'll land the plane here. Shout out to that. I've been using the shit out of that, man. So, I'm gonna keep it real. So to land the plane, I got an offer from a team called the Cheshire Jets in New England. In Britain. And this is actually a team that offered Ron Artest a contract when he retired from the Lakers. And so what they offered me, it was a brother too, man, a dude from the States who was a coach. They let him handle the affairs with contracts and what have you. And he let me down, man. He told me that, we want you. He sent me the contract. I signed the contract. I faxed it back, and they basically reneged on me. So he put me in a bad place, and I turned down 2 other contracts. But I went back in my bag again. I'm like, okay, you done seen this so many times over. Keep blasting this stuff out. Something's gonna pop up. And it so happens it did, man. And I got not only myself, but 2 of my teammates, one of which was better than me overseas as well, man. And so I bring all that to a full circle to say, the accomplishments that you get in life, the merits that you earn, it's off of what your intestinal fortitude, man. Because in a lot of places you think you got the plan together, and then life is gonna show you, nah, bro. Because the same one I want, there were at least 1,000 other guys who want the same thing. What separates you from that field? So why does that matter to what you guys do? Because you guys obviously didn't play basketball to that level, and that's okay. Think about your fields that you're in as far as your job. Think you got all this great certification. You got all these great, your education. But there are a million dudes just like you who want the same exact position that you do. So what are you doing to put yourself in position to beat them out? So use my story as a beacon that you don't necessarily have to come from the best ilk or the best, what's the right, a better word? Stop. Pedigree. There you go, pedigree. Yeah, there you go, man. Shout out to the vocabulary, man. So, but you still have enough in you that if you push hard enough, if you use what you got intrinsically to get yourself to where you're going to go, man. And so people tell me all the time, damn, Lou, you must have been this, you must have been that. I was like, no, not really. But I got myself to the result I wanted to be at because I was willing to push harder than most people. I was willing to try. I was willing to put myself out there. And why is it a problem? Because when you put yourself out there and you don't get it, then what happens? You get ridiculed. You get people going to say, oh, this nigga right here. This. You know what I'm saying? You know how it goes, but you got to be willing to put yourself out there and not be subjected to other people's impressions upon you and see the goal and attain the goal. And that's what I want my personal story to permeate over whatever vocation, whatever discipline you gentlemen are in, whether it's YouTube, whether it's the tech world, whether it's real estate, whether it's, you name it, blue collar work. Because your personal perseverance is always going to outwork people who may have a better pedigree. In the sports world, we say this all the time, man. Hard work beats talent 9 times out of 10. Hard work beats talent. So y'all take that with you. That's all I got, man. And so thank y'all for letting me speak. Yeah, about that part. Appreciate it.
All right, gentlemen. Do we have any questions for Jargon?